Hello, everyone, and welcome to the FUNWAVE HPC Portal application video tutorial. This video is the introductory overview of the application. In this video, we will cover how to gain access to the portal, the features and functions of the application, and the general flow of building project simulations. This portal is accessible to employees of the Army Corps of Engineers and the greater DoD. For more information about the DoD HPC portal, please visit portal.hpc.mil. That's portal.hpc.mil. Otherwise, if you have questions about accessing the ERDC HPC portal, you can reach out to Dr. Matt Malley of the Coastal Hydraulics Lab within the ERDC. We will provide his contact information at the end of this video. So this FUNWAVE portal application is currently in version 2.0, and you can expect continued development of the portal in future versions over the years as well. In addition, we'd like to point out that Chrome is the recommended browser for the best access to this system, and all applications are currently running on Onyx, our ERDC HPC machine. So you can find descriptions of the HPC portal application as well as a comprehensive overview of the model FUNWAVE and how to get started through the comprehensive FUNWAVE Wiki page. Just search for FUNWAVE Wiki in your browser to get to this page and learn more. So let's go there. Here, if you just Google FUNWAVE Wiki, you'll be able to find this address and find this FUNWAVE Wiki page here. So to start, if you do not have access to the portal at this time, you will need to contact us to gain permissions, and you can find our contact information on this comprehensive wiki page if we just scroll down through the main page until we reach this transitioning to the HPC portal for uses. And in this note box here is the link to the HPC portal, as well as the email address for Dr. Matt Malley. To access the portal, you will need a PIE or a PI account using your common access card. And once this account is set up, all security checks and communications will be taken care of in your browser. And for this application, you do not need to be connected to the VPN. If you are a USACE or DoD employee, you can do this on your local internet. So how do we access the portal? Well, we'll go and click on this link, portal.hpc.mil, to get started. This will redirect us to the DoD HPC homepage. And for your purposes, we'll click on the HPC portal at ERDC, ERDC. So once you've clicked on the ERDC DSRC HPC portal, you'll be redirected to this screen. If we scroll down, this just consents that you're accessing a US government website. We click accept, and you'll be asked to log in to the High Performance Computing Modernization Portal, or HPCMP. This is where you'll be asked for your credentials. For folks with a common access card or a CAC, you'd be able to log in here. Otherwise, folks who have a PKI or Kerberos key using YubiKey would be able to log in here. Again, contact us to help you get started in setting up these credentials. So to access the portal, we'll continue with the CAC login. It will ask for my certificates. I click OK, and it will ask for your PIN. And once accepted, you'll be redirected into the HPC portal where we have this window here. So once you're in the portal, you have access to various things. The first that we want to point out is at the top in this banner, you can view your files, any files that you have on the HPC, whether it's jobs that have finished and the output files are available. This is kind of like a file manager that you'll be able to interact with the HPC machine directly. You can check if you have any jobs or sessions currently open. And you can check your allocations available on the portal in your About Me section. Let's check this one out. So in my About Me, you'll see that I have access to these registered groups, and in your particular login, you'll be able to check if you have access to any groups on the HPC. So let's go back to the home screen. And let's go to locate where the FUNWAVE portal is on this screen. So we're just going to scroll through until we see the ERDC Hydro Toolkit. And this is where we find this here. This is what this logo looks like, and we'll click on this portal. The ERDC Hydro Model Toolkit is a platform for hydrodynamic and hydraulic models to be integrated with HPC systems through a user-friendly graphical user interface, or GUI. This platform allows USACE members to address water resource challenges, solve complex problems, and support interdisciplinary initiatives. The toolkit is in its early stages of development with the possibility of implementing several modeling capabilities that we can see here. FUNWAVE is the first fully implemented model available on the platform. And so in this version 2 of the FUNWAVE portal, users can simulate 1D and 2D linear and nonlinear wave fields with sediment morphology and vessel interactions. So let's hop into the portal. Now, once you click on the FUNWAVE icon, you'll see that you've come to a registration screen with a pop-up saying to contact us if you do encounter any errors. And if you've never had a FUNWAVE account before, you would just have to fill out your username and contact information on this registration screen, and we would grant you access to all of our executables on our side. And this would be just a one-time step. If you are a new user, you will need to wait up to 24 to 48 hours for those access permissions to be granted and active. If you have already set up an account and do have full access, then once you click OK on the pop-up, you'll be redirected to the main page of the FUNWAVE portal. Since I already have an account, I'll just click OK and be redirected to this space. So now we're in the FUNWAVE portal. Up to this point, we've covered where to access the FUNWAVE Wiki, which will lead you right to the HPC Portal page, which will bring you to this FUNWAVE Portal application. Right now, we are experiencing a little bit of technical difficulties on the back end. So we do have this note here that if you do run into any permission issues with simulations, just refresh the browser real quick, and that should clear things up. So now let's check out what is available in the portal. What you see here is your workspace or sandbox. There are different workspaces or projects available in your portal. The top one in red is your private workspace, and other projects in blue below this are shared workspaces. Outside of your private workspace are these individual projects. And in each project, you can add or remove collaborators. So here you can have multiple members a part of the same project. And in this case, we see we have 19 members in this project, 3 here, 3 here, and 4 members here. So this is where you can do collaborative efforts with other folks. In addition, the difference between projects or workspaces that you own versus ones that you do not own are designated by this edit project button. So in this case, I have an edit project button on this workshop 2021 project, and that signifies that I own this project and I can edit the name, the description, and the list of collaborators on this project. Otherwise, here's an example of a project that I do not own, but I am a member of. I cannot edit the project description or add collaborators, but I can add simulations to the project. So within each project, you can add simulations or modify existing simulations. You can add simulations with this add simulation button. In this case, we can give a simulation a name, specify which type the simulation will be, and that is the module type. The default module is the central module that has all parameters that you would need to set up your simulation. But there are also additional modules that you can add or incorporate into your simulation. And in here, this is where you would specify whether it is a one-dimensional or two-dimensional, 1D, 2D simulation, as well as provided a description. So we could set up a test using the central module. It'll be in 2D, and we'll give it a description. And we can create that simulation. And that simulation was created in our private workspace. Now here we do have some information right on these tiles for each simulation. The first is the color at the top of each simulation. The color at the top of each simulation designates which module is being used for that simulation. For example, these simulations are all in green because only the central module is being used in the simulation. If, for example, the shipwakes module was being used in a simulation, that would show up as yellow at the top of the simulation tile. You can have multiple modules added to any simulation, and that would be designated by the color coding, so you know which simulation is using which module. Next on these simulations is we can see at what stage the simulation is in the generation and running phase. So for example, we just created this simulation, so it is new. There have been no updates, no jobs were submitted on the simulation, no outputs have been created, versus simulations that have been submitted, ran, and finished. They have outputs available in these simulations. So you can get a sense of where each simulation is in the workflow from a high level. Next, if you are working on a simulation and say you built one, you ran it, you saw the outputs, and now you want to change one or two variables for a sensitivity test, you can easily clone an existing simulation in your project and rerun it with changed parameters. So easily just click this clone button. You see that it will appear here next to that original simulation in your workspace as a clone, and you'd be able to modify and rerun that simulation. All of the input parameters from the original simulation are copied over, and you can modify and rerun. Additionally, if you have been working on a simulation in a particular workspace or project, and you'd like to move it to a different project for your collaborators to work with, you can also move simulations from one project to another with this little arrow, this move simulation button, and you'll specify which project to move that simulation to. In this case, we can move this simulation to the FUNWAVE tutorial. You see here, we have a notification saying that the simulation was moved. And if we scroll down to the FUNWAVE tutorial, we see that this simulation was added here. It'll tell you at what date was the last modification date of that simulation. We'll just move that back to the workspace. So now that we have a feel for our project workspace and how to manage simulations within each project, let's take a look at the workflow of an individual simulation. We'll use this simulation as an example. So the first thing that you'll see when you enter any simulation is this overview tab. And here you'll see an edit history of the simulation, the dates, the timestamp of each edit, the name of the user, who edited the simulation, and what was edited. Additionally, you'll see some other metadata information about a description of the simulation where you can edit this description as you see fit, the owner, the type of module, where in your workspace this simulation exists, and when it was created, and however many runs. So this will be the first thing that you see in one of 5 tabs in each simulation. This is what we'll refer to as our simulation workflow. The first is your overview. The second is your bathymetry and topography tab. The third is your input-output tab. The fourth is your run tab. And the fifth is the post-processing tab. Now, in our video tutorial series, we will go into more depth into the input parameters on each of these tabs. But just as a quick overview, we'll just quickly go through the bathymetry topography tab. Here you'll specify the type of bathymetry you'll use for this particular simulation, any bathy correction or grid interpolation needed here. We do have a new feature coming soon to visualize the bathymetry in this window as well, so stay tuned for future updates. Next, in our input-output tab is really the meat of the simulation. This is where you'll specify each component of the simulation in terms of how long it will run, how many resources to use, your interval for plotting outputs, specify your internal wave maker parameters, any sponge layers on the ends or boundaries of your simulation, specify your physics and numerics, add any breakwater or obstacle files, specify any initial conditions, and then specify your global output or station file output here. And again, we'll go into more detail in future videos on each field of this input-output tab. Next, once you've specified the meat of your simulation, you'll move to the Run tab, where you'll see in general an overview similar to the traditional FUNWAVE control file input.txt. You'll see those inputs and text info in text format here, as well as setting up the conditions needed or the parameters needed to run the simulation to submit a job on our high performance computing system, Onyx. Once you have submitted a job, you'll see any results. Here we'll tell you where to find those results, either in the portal application. From there, you can access the post-processing tab, where any outputs that you do have available for the simulation, you can run some basic post-processing scripts right within the portal application. So this wouldn't require you to download any hefty files from the HPC to your local machine. You can do a lot of post-processing right in this portal window, right from your browser. And these are the current available post-processing scripts that you have. Once you select one and select a file, you can view the image or the figure that is created from the post-processing script, as well as download a JPEG to your local machine. So this is pretty much the flow of the simulation from start to finish. And if we go back to the main landing page of the FUNWAVE application, let's go over an example of a simulation of a different type. For example, what that workflow would look like if we were using the vessel module, or the ship wake module rather. Now, the primary difference here is in using different modules. You'll see the type and that color coded as well to each specific module right in your overview tab. And the primary differences will be in the input output tab. Again, the meat of your simulation. So all of these fields, individual fields, are in blue. For any module specific input values, you'll notice that that is designated in the color in which that module represents. So in here, shipwakes is highlighted in yellow and will ask you to add vessel files. Now, one thing, if you've noticed with each of these parameters listed in every tab, there is a little eye icon. This is our info icon for each parameter. If you hover over that icon, it will tell you what you need to do, what that parameter is requesting, or a brief description of the parameter. Here's a few examples. You guys can play with this on your own as well. And the neat thing is, if you click on any of these info icons, you'll actually be redirected to the comprehensive wiki page, direct to the page related to the parameter that you're clicking the info icon for, that you want to learn more about. And so this is true for all values, all parameters in the FUNWAVE portal. It will direct you right to the wiki so you can learn more about how to set it up and what it means for your simulation. Additionally, if you're working with any simulation and you experience any major issues or concerns, there is an expert help and bug reporting button up here. If you click on that, you'll open up your local email client automatically, and you'd be able to contact us directly to report any bugs or need any additional help. So with that, we went over a lot today. We went over how to access this FUNWAVE portal through either the FUNWAVE wiki or direct through the portal.hpc.mil. We went over how to set up projects and how to set up simulations within your workspace in the FUNWAVE portal. We also learned about how to manage simulations within each workspace, as well as gave a very brief overview of what goes into each simulation on the portal. So do stay tuned for additional video tutorials explaining each part of the simulation workflow. And if you do have any additional questions, always jump into that FUNWAVE wiki first to see if that can answer any of your questions. Otherwise, if you have additional questions, you can reach us by email. Join our mailing list, which you can find on the FUNWAVE wiki here as well, on the main page. With that, we do hope that this tutorial has been helpful, and I hope you're able to check out the next video tutorials as well. Happy modeling!